Welcome back to the forum. Our question that we have, first let me introduce my forum guests. Lisa Kirby-Gibbs from Highland March Office Business Center.
Hi.
And Sarah Condorageous.
You got it.
From the Nectar Group. Your group is a marketing expert
Yeah,
firm.
strategic marketing, graphic design firm. Yes, Nectar Creative Group.
Great. So our conversation that we wanted to have today was regarding what types of things make your company look bigger or professional. You know, if you're a small business, what types of things do you see out there that give you that positive or the negative side of things? Anybody want to start with any type of topic?
I don't mind jumping in from a marketing perspective. I think we work with a number of clients that are small startups, solo entrepreneurs, all the way to large companies. And a lot of times those small entrepreneurs or sole proprietors want to still be able to portray the same type of image as a large company that are some of their direct competitors. And I think it's a catch-22 sometimes. Many times these startup businesses don't have large budgets to spend on startup costs, including a lot of times their marketing. But at the flip side, I've seen it really work negatively against them when they don't do that, and they go sometimes to do the quick fix, order a quick business card online, quick logo online, and they come back with something that really doesn't represent the image that they want to portray to their potential clients and the audiences in which they want to be represented and start to brand themselves with. So many times it actually is a really great investment for companies that may not have large budgets, or even for those that do have large budgets, to make sure they're spending a good amount of time evaluating what brand they want to create for themselves, and consequently making sure that across the table, all of their materials, whether it brochure, business card, signs on billboards, all the way through to websites and any type of touch that they have with their potential audience, is looking the same way, polished and clean, so that there's not a disconnect between each of those images, so it looks like different segmented companies rather than one polished, cohesive unit.
Kind of like, for example, you're talking about something looking right, a business card.
Yes.
You should be concerned about the weight of the paper. So
there's lots of different options. Whatever type of industry you are, there's a lot of different options that really can professionalize your image just in those polishing features. Like you said, either the glossy, the weight, is it gold foiled? You know, there's different options there. And I've actually been to some networking events where I'm introduced to somebody and they hand me their business card, and literally within that same large networking event, another business professional in a similar industry has handed me a business card that looks exactly the same, because they've just gone online and purchased a template. Again, that may be a cost-effective option for people with small budgets. However, in the long run, I've now been presented by two potential people to work with that both have the exact same image, and to me that doesn't really make them help stand out or differentiate them from any of their competition.
And if that business card has a perforated edge on it?
Yes, right. Yes,
yeah, I've
the
seen
pop-outs
those.
from Staples is not exactly the way to go. Just it's a small investment that can really make a huge return on promoting yourself. You know, there's a lot of different ways to sort of promote an image. Certainly, your brand and your design is one, but it's also Lisa, you can speak to this, sort of the image of your office space, the image of your presentation of how you dress, and
well, I was just going to pick up on the business card. I love heavy business cards. To me, are the first impression, and it's palpable. It's something that you take home with you. It's a lasting impression, and to have a fabulous business card to me is very important, and it makes a difference to me in what kind of vendors or what kind of professionals I'm going to use in my business. So I totally agree with you around the business card aspect of things. And I also think, this sort of dovetails with the idea of an office, a professional office space or a virtual office, to have, 9 Blueberry Lane, which is where you live, on your business card. It just automatically smacks of a small-time player. And to me, people should invest in a corporate address, invest in 1900 West Park Drive, invest in something where people look at your business card and there's a corporate address on it. I also think when it comes to business cards, if we're on that track, I think it smacks of a small business for you to have president under your title if you're a relatively small business. I think you should be managing partner or director of sales and marketing or something. But people going out there and having, and I do career management consulting as well, but I think having president on your card, it's sort of like president of what? To me, I would go with something that's more descriptive. If you really focus on sales and marketing in your company, say director of sales and marketing, or say partner or managing partner, or something that doesn't smack of somebody trying to sort of be more than they truly are. But I think so much of looking big is, or bigger than you are, and looking big to me is successful. I don't care how many people you employ, but how successful are you? It really has to do with that first impression, whether it's your branding and having it be consistent and polished and representative in some catchy way of who you are. But it's also the physical space in which people meet you, whether they're at Starbucks or whether you're, meeting around your dining room table. It's what kind of an impression do you want to make on people? And so much of that first impression is, yes, this is a successful business or a big business, or, gee, this guy's just kind of coasting along.
I was in a situation one time where somebody was going to do their trade show. They were going to do a trade show, and they were going to Vegas. So they were going to a big time show, right? They're going to a big time show, and they were telling me that they wanted to buy a tabletop display to put in their 10 by 10 space. Now, I have no problem with just having a 10 by 10 space, because I think if you
do a lot if you're creative with it.
Right, or even if you know how to work it, okay? But the problem is if you throw up a tabletop on in a 10 by 10, anybody walking through that show.
It needs to have a reason behind it. If you're going to use that open space in that capacity, that can work really great to your advantage if it works with the shtick, if it works with who you are as a business. If it just comes across as disorganized, unplanned, quickly scrapped together at the last minute, we'll just hand out pens because they're the cheapest and quickest things we can get our hands on as little tchotchkes to give away. You're really doing a disservice to your company that way. And it's not necessarily negative all the time. You don't always have to be a business that wants to look that much bigger. It's okay to be a small business that caters to small businesses. And that's in the planning of how do you want to craft the image of your company. We work with clients a lot that are small businesses that do want to look large, and we need to portray that image. But on the flip side, there's a lot of small community businesses that only service certain towns in the area, and they don't want to look like they're this huge shop. They want to look like the mom and pop shops that have been invested in the community, have had a presence in the community, and want to continue to service on that neighborly community basis. And that's okay, but make sure that image is representative of what you're trying to do.
And quickly, we have about 1 minute left. Also, how do you feel about somebody's car or their clothing?
Well, I was just thinking about that when you were talking about the mom and pop thing. I think having your dress be part of your brand is just so critical. So if you want to be Class A professional working in a corporate environment, you better dress that way. And if you want to have more, if you sell, granola or something, and you want to have more of a, fun, dress that way. I just think as a business person, you have to be cognizant of your image, your brand. You are part of your brand.
Great. Well, I want to thank my guests, Lisa Kirby-Gibbs from Highland March Office Business Centers, and Sarah Condoragis from the Nectar Group. Thanks so much for watching Reverb, sound business advice that resonates.